Hello. Another year, another date in York. July. I've been here 2 days and I've not done any filming yet because I thought I'd leave the camera at home, give me more space. But it's Wednesday now. I'm actually leaving tomorrow, but I'm going to do lots of things worth filming now. And this morning, I'm going on a guided walk of unknown bits. Yes, I'm by myself out here. Familiar old view. There we are, there's the Minster.
See, that's a Tudor fireplace.
This would have been the original kitchen.
This would have been the kitchen up till the 19th century when they filled in the fireplace and made it smaller. You can very clearly see here reuse of timber. You see those I'll talk more about those in a minute, because obviously we don't have to hold them up, but you can see that they're definitely not in situ, they've been reused, they've got marks in them that don't tie up with the present building.
Oh, is this spiderwebs?
So?
Spiderwebs? Is it just
no, I think it's
yeah,
they've been doing something in it to make it look weird, if you know what I mean.
Probably it was Halloween last year.
It'd be something, it'd be like that. Yeah. I think it had a sort of resident, a long-term resident in for a while. And they did these. And this is in Latin. It's sort of dog Latin, but it means something like, don't confuse luggage store.
Okay, not bad washing machines compared to what I've seen.
Well, one in the World Cup, like, when there was in the toilet, the servants' toilets.
Compressed gas.
And here, I think, if you just step up here, you really do get the clearest evidence of it having been two houses. If you look back now, you can see that there's one house, two houses, and so that's been one, and John Carr's amalgamated them. And if you actually look at the gutter lines, you can actually see that they're not even on the same alignment. Catholicism was still illegal, you see. And the other thing about this chapel is that it's got about about 12 exits. Don't drop it down, because you really will have had it. I think what they do, they have to persuade a child to go down and get the stuff out.
Any ex-chimney sweeps around? Actually, this is a view I bet not many people get.
The story is that she had one of these in her house. That's what she was convicted of, wasn't it?
Hiding priests. She might not have had it her own, but...
So obviously had something.
So let's just... I'll tell you more about the priest hole, about the shambles in a minute.
The find orange rigid life rafts, white self-inflatable life raft and orange rigid life rings, all these are launched manually. In case of fire, fire extinguisher in the downstairs saloon for any minor injuries, first aid kit lies just behind the back. Highly unlikely events of any emergency, please remain calm, follow the crew's instructions, they'll guide you to your nearest safest exit. Quick introductions to the crew for this trip. My name's Johnny Sadie Skippering, and downstairs looking after the bar, housing, and it's not reopened since. Causing a bit of a stink in the local paper, especially at the moment. Stood derelict now for nearly 6 years, gone to complete wreck and ruin. Council own, however, did lease it out. The two guys who have the lease have still 20-odd years left running on it. They say they can't reopen it, nobody will insure them against the floods. Council, like everything else in York now, want to turn it to flats. So it's arrived at a stalemate, which is a real shame. Beautiful building that. There's a great music venue in its day, absolutely huge inside. Well, this is one of two cast iron Victorian road bridges we have in York. We're seeing them underneath now. Skeldergate Bridge was completed 1881. Just behind the trees on the right are the portion of the city walls, which made believe the medieval city in most medieval times are very compact. The bridge we just sailed beneath was designed by Thomas Page, who was more famous for engineering London's Westminster Bridge across the Thames. Just about 3,000, that's at the height of campaigns, such as Christmas, Easter. The announced job losses though also, a couple of months ago now, over 250. Sent alarm bells ringing off all around the factory site because they're giving out lots of voluntary redundancies also at the moment, which most people are deciding to take because they do believe it is going to go the same way as Terry's. We hope this factory doesn't close though. It's still one of York's single largest employers, but we know it is getting really hard to try and keep or attract any type of manufacturing job to any part of Britain at the moment, especially when companies can get the labour a lot cheaper abroad. The third we have, smallest, is Craven's, Coventry, Bassett today, found out on the western outskirts. Those find what went in the river in the 18th century, absolutely everything, even the sewerage. Writers of the time did indicate some days were probably the most healthiest day that you could have been here. The river today attracts a variety of wildfowl. As we sail about, you should see coots or moorhen, grey-lag geese, Canada geese, a few farmyard geese, and of course mallard ducks. We've had a few swans, the odd heron, cormorant or grebe. Being lucky, you might even spot a kingfisher. You're probably on the best trip to try and spot one actually. They are sometimes seen in the city centre, but must be said the sightings of kingfishers are very rare anyway. They're notoriously hard to try and spot. They're a very small bird and there we are at Bishopsthorpe Palace, the official residence of the Archbishop of York. I believe he's at home, because when he's in residence, that's when they usually fly that red across the St George, that flagpole line. Present Archbishop is John Sentiment, ex-Bishop of Birmingham, Ugandan, who came from Uganda in the 1970s. He was fleeing the dictatorship of Idi Amin. He's become the first ever black archbishop and holds the second highest position in the Church of England. Now from the river, this is the back of the palace we're now looking at. If you ever do see it from the front, it must be said it does look a lot grander than this. Although at least from the river, it's a more interesting view because you can see the different stages in which the palace has been added to and built over passing centuries. Now work first actually started on it back in the year 1241. Former Archbishop Walter the Great first built a small manor house and chapel here. As you can tell, added to over the years in the 16th, 17th and 18th centuries mainly, by the Saxon Earl Morcar and the Northumbrian army. The battle raged for most of the day. Eventually it was the English who broke and fled, a lot of them drowning in this part of the river during the retreat. The Vikings went into York victorious with some pillaging, as Vikings did, set fire to the town and looted it, then they retreated to their encampment at Stamford Bridge, which is about 7 miles away from here. King Harold heard of this, so decided he was going to make a forced march of his troops from London, 200 miles in only 4 days, defeating the Vikings at Stamford Bridge. He actually had taken them by surprise, so the Vikings ended up calling for a truce, returned back to Norway in 24 with more than 300 Viking warships, the last large-scale invasion by the Vikings of its kind in this country. No time for Harold to rest though, as there was another invasion, this time the south coast, William of Normandy. Harold again decided he was going to get his troops together, and that once more he was going to make another forced march. It's no doubt a fortnight of fighting and marching, along with the loss of the Northumbrian army here at Fulford, all contributed to Harold's defeat and eventual death on the 14th of October 1066. All we're left with now is one of the major sewerage works, which is coming up on the right shortly. As you can imagine, that gives off a totally different smell. Now, the factory site has just been sold for over £20 million. It's grade 2 listed, which just happened before they sold it, which it wasn't looking highly likely at one point that we were going to knock it down last June while our Ascot got refurbished. York Racecourse over there is where also the famous highwayman Dick Turpin was hung for horse stealing. So they can't change the outside of Terrace, they can change the interior though, and part of it is highly looking to become housing, other part a hotel. There's even talk of part of it becoming a museum to show you York's chocolate and sweet making heritage. Everything's still up in the air at the moment though.
It's another day. It's the day I'm leaving, Thursday, and I finally, after years of meaning to do so, actually have walked a fairly long journey out towards the Acomb area along Boroughbridge Road to see the Church of the Holy Redeemer, which includes parts of the ruins of St Mary Bishop's Hill Senior. But if I can see the actual ruins, it's another matter. There's a lot of people around, but we might ask them.
It was more like one of them ones that you get
Capsule to myself. The queue outside. I got my own capsule. It's brill. That's because I can't be trusted. And there we are, that's it. Straight back down again. Now that's great. Now you get down there and that's a bit scary. That is a bit high up. And I'm stuck here. And it's just swaying and this is scary. I've decided I'm not good with heights. If it wasn't swaying, it'd be alright, so this fear it's going to collapse any moment. And there's gasworks way in the distance over there. It's a corking view though, look at the Minster from here, look at that. Beautiful. And the ooze down there. And I'm just sat here. Oh, down there. I've moved over a bit now. I think I was one of the first people to get loaded on this round, so spending ages just being stuck on top. There's the cannon fodder. Hey, up we going. I wonder if they would sue for lack of privacy. You can see the weeds in our garden. I want £1 billion on a sausage. Now the £1 billion not a problem. Sausage? Maybe not. We must negotiate on the sausage. Open at